Alright, so today's good old fan fiction of the day is Deltarune. A good game. I love the game. I got it for my mom's crappy computer. I played it on that first. Now I have the Switch version, and Jevil is very, very hard. But we're not talking about Jevil today. We're talking about Kris Ralsei. You see, good fluffy boy and Car 2.0. Kris was walking with Ralsei to go find Susie. She ran off again. Kris walks up to a glowing star, and Ralsei stands behind. He takes a few steps back and sighs. He has always dreamed of Kris and him to be together, but it never happened. I don't think Ralsei ever thought of that, because Ralsei is a friendly individual, but he didn't think of like relationship stuff, pal. All right, but while he was waiting from the human and monster, she was thinking, wait, hold on, Ralsei's a girl? Okay. No one dreaming about the human to come along and save them all. He was so inspired by the thought of Kris saving everyone. I mean, he still knows and believes Kris, doesn't say believes, it says believes, but can do it. But Ralsei also hoped Kris would like him. No, Ralsei doesn't hope that at all. He does hope that the world gets saved. But Ralsei realized that Kris wouldn't like some Prince of the Dark. That sounded kind of racist, but you could have said Prince of the Dark World, not Prince of the Dark. But the name sounds cool, but no, it doesn't. The job itself is just boring. Ralsei just puts a cloak back on. Kris turns around, and only to have a black expression on his face. Hold on. I thought Kris was blue, but no, I guess he's black now. Alright. Ralsei sighs, wanting to see the sweet smile he has, but Kris does not smile. What do you want about? Oh wait, the end game, that little sweet smile that is, but he doesn't show much of anything really. Oh well, he is just glad he could be one of the heroes to stand along Kris, even if Ralsei had to hide his feelings. Oh Kris, we should get some training in. A big yes and no appeared in front of Ralsei's face. Oh, it's like the little UI thingy, but he looked at the hopeful Ralsei. He had no smile or frown, no emotion. Still, he chose a yes. Yes! That's what it says. It's like in caps, so I have to scream it. Ralsei jumped up and down. They started. Now they are on acting. You don't have to put them in all caps, by the way, but Ralsei feels something warm on his body, only to look down and see Kris hugging him. That's nice. You know, Kris is a nice individual. I mean, except for the end of the game. Ralsei blushes madly. He blushed, but not madly, pal. But right as he was about to say something, he heard a small "Take the cloak off, please." What? He could barely hear it, but lucky he did. It was Kris! Kris said something. Ralsei thought, still red-faced. Kris not letting go. He hugs even tighter. Kris! Ralsei chokes on his words, strangling him now. This is freaking animal cruelty, but Kris let go and took a few steps back, no expression on his face. Ralsei realized and quickly took off his oh god, Ralsei is like probably like 13 years old. You can't do this stuff to children, but a dusted blush appeared on Kris's face, only for him to turn around and not to let Ralsei see. He starts to walk, and Ralsei falls behind. Susie leaves to find a way out. Kris and Ralsei were stuck in a seal alone together. Okay. A seal? Why are they in the freaking Atlantis now? What? Kris stared at the ceiling, at that step that kept on dripping with water. The freaking eat moss. He sighed and blew some hair out of his face. up into the air, only for it to fall back in his face. Ralsei was closing his eyes, relaxing, listening to the sound of water drops hitting the ground. For some reason, it made him relaxed. Kris stands up and walks over to the corner with moss in it. Oh, finally! Ralsei, hearing that pitter-patter of feet, he shot up and watched as Kris bent down and took a piece, looking at it with a bit of curiosity. Kris ate the moss. It tastes mossy. Ralsei make a funny face to Kris. What is this, preschool now? And said, "Wow, Kris, we aren't even in here for 2 minutes and you're eating moss." Well, I mean, yeah, that's what he said. But Ralsei sees a small smile appear on Kris's face. This makes him feel better that he made Kris smile. Ralsei sat down again, closing his eyes. Kris sits down extremely close to Ralsei. Leaning in really close, Kris is hovering inches away from Ralsei's. I'm so tired of this bestiality shit.
Kris had a crush on Ralsei, but he never wanted to show any emotion because that's what I'm known for.
Okay.
The quiet, creepy.
I mean, you got that right.
Now all these emotions got too strong. Now he can't hold them back anymore. Alone in a room with the one he loves.
That's not true, but or should I say?
No, that's wrong!
Come on, how could he not? Kris wraps his fingers around the scarf, pulling it down a little. Ralsei opened his eyes, and his eyes widened. But Kris's hand sneaks behind Ralsei's head, making the kiss even deeper and more passionate. He pushes Ralsei back, laying him on the ground. Wow, Kris, he pushes him back, yeah. Kris pulls away with the same non-expression face. He pets Ralsei's hand, yeah, okay, pal, and touches his horns, only to get a grunt from him. Kris smirks and the screen says, Kris uses pleasure attack. What the fuck? He takes his bottoms off to unleash his gray underwear with cyan. I think I'm done with this story. I don't know. I don't want to see freaking bestiality.
I can't believe this.
Well, Ralsei takes them off to blush, avoiding eye contact. Yeah, Ralsei would definitely do that. He wouldn't be questioning Kris and what the frick he's doing. He just to gladly do this. But Kris lifts sides off. Sides off Ralsei's. Stop, man. Ralsei is too cute to be freaking looted like this.
And Kris places himself at Ralsei's entrance.
What does that even mean?
Only to slam
with
no mercy. Wink. Ralsei covers his mouth, pain and pleasure mixing. Kris takes the hand away and kisses him. It tastes like moss, mossy, still thrusting the sounds of metal hitting metal. Armor.
Okay.
Kris rubs Ralsei, making him come on Kris's hand.
Whoever made the stories like delusional.
This makes Kris on edge inside.
What are you talking about?
Ralsei says, making Kris peek over and come inside Ralsei. Kris takes his hand back, licking all of the white off his hands. He smiles with a bit left on his face. He places Ralsei's hand on his still rock hard member. Ralsei gets to work only for Kris to have his head snap back in pleasure.
I honestly despise this story.
He lets out a pretty loud, gaspy grunt. He says, "Faster." Again, another word comes out of Kris. Ralsei follows along and does this.
And this person's probably like a 5-year-old too, because he can't even spell correctly. But Kris reaches and does the same for Ralsei, but giving him a squeeze every once in a while. I'm gonna squeeze the neck of the person who created the story, but
usually when Kris wanted him to go faster, right when Ralsei tries to squeeze a small bit. What does that even mean? To give this same treatment, Kris came before he could. Beads of sweat run down Kris's head. Kris pins Ralsei down again. "Kris, too much." Ralsei was getting tired, but Kris needed more. He yearned for it.
no, I yearn for this story to end.
It was a new feeling, and Kris didn't feel as many things as that other people do. He let a pent of breath out into Ralsei's face, growling.
He's a wolf now, but
when I say we don't, we are. What the fuck? When I say we are don't, then we are. Then we're done.
Yeah, I think Kris needs to learn how to speak like proper English, because he's speaking like an actual caveman right now. But
Ralsei nodded, knowing Kris wanted to show his
Dom side. What does that mean? Dom side? What?
Kris thrusted hard into Ralsei, only for tears to brim Ralsei's eyes.
Yeah, I think tears are brimming my eyes from reading this story.
Kris kisses them away and thrusts again and again and again. After a long while, Ralsei came in onto Kris's hand and arm. What's that?
What? Kris is just changing genders throughout the story? Kris is a girl, now Kris is a boy? Like, what is this story? Freaking
finally released into Ralsei again. Ralsei fell into deep sleep by the time Kris pulled out and cleaned them both up.
And you realize you sexualized 2 13-year-olds, but
Kris cuddled next to Ralsei, hugging him tight, still no emotion. But deep inside, he felt happy.
I'm not happy from reading this story, I'm really sad, but
he smiled, kissing Ralsei's head and saying a thank you, only for Ralsei to smile and say a quiet "you're welcome." They both fall into a satisfied sleep.
Again, you sexualized a 13-year-old, but
Ralsei has a new partner. Susie opens the door. Susie sees the both of you, only to lay down and fall.
Yeah, okay. That's definitely something Susie would do. She wouldn't like freaking shake both of them to wake up or something. No, she'd just sleep next to them, because you totally got Susie's personality nailed down to a coffin. But
sit next to you guys soon.
Shut up, motorcycle! Gosh dang, I'm tired of this loud town. But
soon Lancer sees and lays down to really close to.
Oh great, yeah, let's do that.
Sorry if it wasn't detailed enough.
No, it was terrible, and I wanted to freaking kill myself from reading this story. Wait, oh god, is there seriously... What?
Mail!
Kris X Fem Reader. What are you talking about? Well, I know I definitely lost like a few brain cells and faith for humanity from after reading this story of sexualizing a 13-year-old pure fluffy boy, and an emotionless Kris and human blue person. I don't care. But yeah, the male Kris X Fem Reader, whatever the frick it's called, that's gonna be saved for another video, because I'm tired out from reading this bestiality garbage. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.